The NES is undoubtedly one of the most important consoles to ever be released. This bad boy not only saved the gaming industry from extinction, but it's also the home of countless classic games that raised the bar for the industry. Some of the games on this system still blow my mind to this day. How could the music, gameplay, and stories of these amazing games be better than even some modern games? Fair warning, I am not a Mario fan. If you love Mario games, that's cool, but there won't be any Mario games on this list. If there's one Mario game I do enjoy, it is the original Super Mario Bros. Just figured I'd give you guys a heads up now before we get started. Please remember to like and subscribe to help me out and to be notified when I post the next video. These are my top 10 NES games. Let's begin.
Number 10.
We're starting things off with Disney's Mega Man clone Darkwing Duck. Created by Capcom, like a lot of the great NES Disney games, Darkwing Duck has that classic Mega Man style, but with a few changes here and there. You still have your level select, your great boss fights, and your tight Mega Man controls, but now you can duck, hide behind your cape to use it as a shield, grab onto hooks and platforms, and pick up new weapons with limited ammo during the stages themselves. The game might be a little easier than what you would expect from a Mega Man game, but it's still got its tricky parts. As a lover of the Mega Man games, I used to rent this game a lot as a kid, and I've probably played through it now just as many times as I have any of the classic Mega Man games. For being such a great classic action platformer, Darkwing Duck starts things off at number 10.
Number 9.
Climbing its way to number 9 is Toki. Toki was an arcade game back in the day that was decently popular. The game didn't reach success, however, until it was ported to the Sega Genesis as Toki Going Apespit. Now, I've played both the arcade HD remaster version and the Genesis version, and I can tell you that neither of these games are nearly as good as the NES version. You see, back in the 90s, the Genesis was usually focusing on trying to make one-to-one arcade ports, whereas the NES would make something similar to the arcade version, but changed it up to better suit the home console setting. The NES version of Toki just feels so much tighter in its controls, which makes for a much more enjoyable game. This one might be a bit too easy for some NES fans, although it might just be because I played the absolute shit out of this one as a kid. So I've memorized every stage and boss fight trick. If you haven't played Toki before, this is the version I recommend. If you grew up playing Going Apespit on the Genesis, then do yourself a favor and play, in my opinion, the best version of this game on the NES.
Number 8.
Sitting at number 8 is another classic Disney game. Rescue Rangers 1 and 2 are some of the funnest co-op games on the NES, but the first game can be a bit of a nightmare if your friend is just coming over for the day to play it and isn't used to the game. To me, Rescue Rangers 2 is the better of the two games because it isn't quite as punishing, so it can be completed on co-op by pretty much anyone. There's some tough spots like any NES game, but if your friend hasn't played the game before, they aren't going to be quitting in a fit of rage like the first one. For having great imaginative stages that lend themselves well to the co-op experience, and just being an all-around fun classic, Rescue Rangers 2 on the NES deserves its place at number 8 on the list.
Number 7.
Power Blade is a game that is finally starting to get some of the praise it deserves. This game came out near the end of the NES's life and is just a great action platformer. You play as an Arnold Schwarzenegger ripoff character named Nova, and it's up to you to save all the sectors of the city from a rogue AI that's controlling a robotic army. Armed with only his trusty boomerang, you've got to platform and murder your way through each stage, locate a contact from inside, and use their ID card to get into the boss rooms. There's so many power-ups in this game. It's one of the few NES action platformers that you could actually say have RPG elements. I absolutely love this game, and I beat it on stream a while back, showing off some of the game's tricks and secrets. For being an underrated classic that's finally starting to get its time to shine by streamers and YouTubers who are finally giving it a chance after all these years, Power Blade earns its spot at number 7.
Number 6.
Of course you knew there were going to be some Mega Man games in here. Sitting at number 6 is Mega Man 3. One of the best in the classic Mega Man series, Mega Man 3 introduced the best boy Rush with all of his abilities. You could use him as a springboard, ride on him as he flies through the air like a jetboard, and hop inside when he turns into a submarine for those tricky underwater segments. Mega Man 3 was also the debut of one of my favorite video game characters of all time, Proto Man. Showing up earlier in the game as Breakman, you learn that Proto Man is Mega Man's predecessor who went rogue. He's here to both help you and challenge you as you make your way once again to Wily's castle. Mega Man 3 is an incredible classic that just had to make the list. You all know I'm a huge Mega Man fan though, so this isn't the last we'll see of the Blue Bomber.
Number 5.
I am a huge Dragon Quest fan. In fact, the first RPG I'd ever played was Dragon Warrior on the NES, so it's no doubt at all that some of the games were going to be in this video. Dragon Warrior 3 was a game that I actually had to come back to enjoy. I didn't play this game growing up, but played it in my early 20s once I finally got my hands on a copy of the game. Released shortly after Squaresoft's Final Fantasy, this game revolutionized the JRPG genre once again by allowing you to create multiple different characters of multiple different vocations, but also allowing you to change their vocations mid-game while keeping their abilities from their original one. This evolution in the genre paved way for Final Fantasy 3 and 5's awesome job class systems, as well as of course Dragon Quest 6, 7, 9, and 10's vocation systems. All this on top of an amazing world to explore, quests to do, and story to unravel, secures Dragon Warrior 3's spot as the number 5 NES game of all time.
Number 4.
I'm a big fan of the Castlevania games, and I've actually been playing through the entire franchise on my Sunday morning Twitch streams, so of course the series' best outing on the NES had to be on the list. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse took everything that was great about the first game and expanded and improved on it. The stages were bigger and better, there were now multiple paths you could take on your way to Dracula, and multiple characters you could have join you. The other neat thing is the game has a completely different level of difficulty depending on which path you take. If you want to be a badass and get Alucard, be my guest. That path can be hard as shit. I usually take the path that gets me Grant Dynasty or Alucard, but when I streamed this game, I let my Twitch chat choose my path, and actually ended up doing the Cypher route for the first time ever. For making so many improvements to the Castlevania series, while being a blast to play and having multiple ways to play it, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse makes it just outside of the top 3 in its number 4 spot.
Number 3.
The Mega Man franchise is one of my favorite video game series, and Mega Man 2 was the one that really put it on the map. Mega Man 2 is still to this day one of the best action platformers ever made, so of course it was going to end up in this video. The Robot Masters, the stage designs, and the music all made Mega Man 2 a classic that I feel will always be able to stand the test of time. If you've never played a Mega Man game and are looking to get into the series, Mega Man 2 is always the game I tell people to start with. It truly encapsulates everything that's great about this series without going overboard and dragging things out like I feel Mega Man 3 to 5 do. So go on and grab this game and lay the smackdown on Dr. Wily.
Number 2.
Yes, I love Mega Man. I know it, you all know it. Mega Man 6 is my favorite in the classic series, so it had to be in this video. Everything I love about Mega Man 2 is expanded and improved on, in my opinion, in Mega Man 6. Not only that, but you now have the ability to fuse with Rush, which allows for each stage to have multiple different paths and endings. In fact, you're even rewarded for finding the alternate endings to each stage by getting a letter which will eventually unlock Beat or Extra Lives, which are always handy in these games. Mega Man 6 also has some of my favorite boss fights of all time, and keeps up a great pace while not overwhelming the player. To me, Mega Man 6 will always be the best in the classic series, which is why it's locked in here at the number 2 position on the list.
Number 1.
And my number 1 NES game of all time is Dragon Warrior 4. It's crazy to even think that a game like this could exist on the NES. Dragon Warrior 4 tells 4 separate stories that all come together in the 5th chapter to tell the best story ever told on the NES. The character development, story, battles, and exploration in this game are unlike anything else on the console. In fact, to this day, Dragon Warrior 4 still has probably the best cast of characters out of any game I've ever played. The way the game is broken down into these chapters is what really gives each character time to shine. They all get some great development in their own respective chapters, so when they all eventually band together, each character can have their own thoughts, feelings, and reactions to every situation in the final chapter. You already have a feel for their personalities, so the story can go in so many different directions, and you know what each person is fighting for and their priorities. For capping off my favorite video game franchise on the NES in a big and impressive way, and having the most likable cast of characters and a great story where the villain has understandable, powerful reasons behind his doings, Dragon Warrior 4 is definitely my favorite game on the NES. Now, before we get to some honorable mentions, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel, and you can help with that just by clicking the 2 buttons below this video. Thank you so much. Now let's move on to the honorable mentions. I'd like to start off with Snow Brothers. I grew up playing this game in the arcade when my family would go to the lake. There was a convenience store on the beach that had this game, so my friends and I would play all afternoon. The NES port is really well done. It's a great co-op game to play with your friends. Next up, of course, is Double Dragon 2, the first video game I've ever played. It's another great co-op game, despite being tough as nails. Last but not least is one of my favorite little-known games, Rockin' Cats. A cross between Bionic Commando and Darkwing Duck, this is a fantastic action platformer that you all need to check out. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a great day.